Good morning, or afternoon, or evening, depending on when you are tuning in. Despite my channel name being Toasty Evenings, it's actually morning time for me currently. Today I thought I would share with you a list of 9 nonfiction books that I'd like to read. So I haven't read them yet, but I'd like to. I'm going to read the titles, the authors, and the synopsis as per what's written on the website Goodreads. This list is in no particular order. It's just what I happened to write down in my notes as I heard of the books or as they crossed my mind. And they're all in very different areas, so it should be pretty varied. To start the list, I have The Lessons of History. The Lessons of History is written by Will Durant and Ariel Durant. And here's the synopsis. In this illuminating and thoughtful book, Will and Ariel Durant have succeeded in distilling for the reader the accumulated store of knowledge and experience from their 4 decades of work on the 10 monumental volumes of The Story of Civilization. The result is a survey of human history, full of dazzling insights into the nature of human experience, the evolution of civilization, the culture of man. With the completion of their life's work, they look back and ask what history has to say about the nature, the conduct, and the prospects of man, seeking in the great lives, the great ideas, the great events of the past, for the meaning of man's long journey through war, conquest, and creation, and for the great themes that can help us to understand our own era. To the Durants, history is not merely a warning reminder of man's follies and crimes, but also an encouraging remembrance of generative souls, a spacious country of the mind, wherein 1,000 saints, statesmen, inventors, scientists, poets, artists, musicians, lovers, and philosophers still live and speak, teach, and carve and sing. Designed to accompany the 10-volume set of The Story of Civilization, The Lessons of History is, in its own right, a profound and original work of history and philosophy. It says here that this book was first published January 1st, 1968. The next one is called The Denial of Death by Ernest Becker. I think this one I had heard the author Mark Manson speaking about, and something about his portrayal and how he received the book just really spoke to me. So I'm going to go ahead and read the synopsis for that one as well. Winner of the Pulitzer Prize in 1974 and the culmination of a life's work, The Denial of Death is Ernest Becker's brilliant and impassioned answer to the why of human existence. In bold contrast to the predominant Freudian school of thought, Becker tackles the problem of the vital lie, man's refusal to acknowledge his own mortality. In doing so, he sheds new light on the nature of humanity and issues a call to life and its living that still resonates more than 20 years after its writing. This one was first published December 31st, 1973. The next one is called The Mosquito, A Human History of Our Deadliest Predator. This book is written by Timothy C. Weingard. The synopsis is as follows. A pioneering and groundbreaking work of narrative nonfiction that offers a dramatic new perspective on the history of humankind, showing how through millennia, the mosquito has been the single most powerful force in determining humanity's fate. Why was gin and tonic the cocktail of choice for British colonists in India and Africa? What does Starbucks have to thank for its global domination? What has protected the lives of popes for millennia? Why did Scotland surrender its sovereignty to England? What was George Washington's secret weapon during the American Revolution? The answer to all these questions and many more is the mosquito. across our planet since the dawn of humankind. This nefarious pest, roughly the size and weight of a grape seed, has been at the front lines of history as the Grim Reaper, the harvester of human populations, and the ultimate agent of historical change. As the mosquito transformed the landscapes of civilization, humans were unwittingly required to respond to its piercing impact and universal projection of power. The mosquito has determined the fates of empires and nations, raised and crippled economies, and decided the outcome of pivotal wars, killing nearly half of humanity along the way. She, only females bite, has dispatched an estimated 52 billion people from a total of 108 billion throughout our relatively brief existence. As the greatest purveyor of extermination we have ever known, she has played a greater role in shaping our human history than any other living thing with which we share our global village. Imagine for a moment a world without deadly mosquitoes, or any mosquitoes for that matter. Our history and the world we know, or think we know, would be completely unrecognizable, driven by surprising insights and fast-paced storytelling. The mosquito is the extraordinary, untold story of the mosquito's reign through human history and her indelible impact on our modern world order. This book was first published August 6, 2019. The next book on my list is called So Good They Can't Ignore You: Why Skills Trump Passion in the Quest for Work You Love. This one is written by Cal Newport. The synopsis is as follows. In this eye-opening account, Cal Newport debunks the long-held belief that follow your passion is good advice. Not only is the cliche flawed, pre-existing passions are rare and have little to do with how most people end up loving their work, but it can also be dangerous, leading to anxiety and chronic job hopping. After making his case against passion, Newport sets out on a quest to discover the reality of how people end up loving what they do. Spending time with organic farmers, venture capitalists, screenwriters, freelance computer programmers, and others who admitted to deriving great satisfaction from their work, Newport uncovers the strategies they used and the pitfalls they avoided in developing their compelling careers. Matching your job to a pre-existing passion does not matter, he reveals. Passion comes after you put in the hard work to become excellent at something valuable, not before. In other words, what you do for a living is much less important than how you do it. With a title taken from the comedian Steve Martin, who once said his advice for aspiring entertainers was to be so good they can't ignore you. Cal Newport's clearly written manifesto is mandatory reading for anyone fretting about what to do with their life, or frustrated by their current job situation and eager to find a fresh new way to take control of their livelihood. He provides an evidence-based blueprint for creating work you love. So Good They Can't Ignore You will change the way we think about our careers, happiness, and the crafting of a remarkable life. This book was first published January 1st, 2012. The next book is called The River of Doubt: Theodore Roosevelt's Darkest Journey. This one is written by Candace Millard, and I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, so I apologize if I didn't. The synopsis for this one is as follows. At once an incredible adventure narrative and a penetrating biographical portrait, The River of Doubt is the true story of Theodore Roosevelt's harrowing exploration of one of the most dangerous rivers on Earth. The River of Doubt. It is a black, uncharted tributary of the Amazon that snakes through one of the most treacherous jungles in the world. Indians armed with poison-tipped arrows haunt its shadows. Piranhas glide through its waters. Boulder-strewn rapids turn the river into a roiling cauldron. After his humiliating election defeat in 1912, Roosevelt set his sights on the most punishing physical challenge he could find: the first descent of an unmapped, rapids-choked tributary of the Amazon. Together with his son Kermit and Brazil's most famous explorer, Candido Mariano da Silva Rondon, Roosevelt accomplished a feat so great that many at the time refused to believe it. In the process, he changed the map of the Western Hemisphere forever. Along the way, Roosevelt and his men faced an unbelievable series of hardships, losing their canoes and supplies to punishing whitewater rapids and enduring starvation, Indian attack, disease, drowning, and a murder within their own ranks. 3 men died, and Roosevelt was brought to the brink of suicide. The River of Doubt brings alive these extraordinary events in a powerful nonfiction narrative thriller that happens to feature one of the most famous Americans who ever lived. From the soaring beauty of the Amazon rainforest to the darkest night of Theodore Roosevelt's life, here is Candice Millard's dazzling debut. This book was first published October 8th, 2005. The next book on my list is The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. Doing well with money isn't necessarily about what you know. It's about how you behave. And behavior is hard to teach, even to really smart people. Money, investing, personal finance, and business decisions is typically taught as a math-based field, where data and formulas tell us exactly what to do. But in the real world, people don't make financial decisions on a spreadsheet. They make them at the dinner table or in a meeting room, where personal history, your own unique view of the world, ego, pride, marketing, and odd incentives are scrambled together. In The Psychology of Money, award-winning author Morgan Housel shares 19 short stories exploring the strange ways people think about money and teaches you how to make better sense of one of life's most important topics. And this one was first published January 1st, 2020. The next one is Letters from a Stoic, Seneca. If you listen to my last video, you'll know that I'm in the middle of reading Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, so it might not be a surprise that this one is on my list. I'm going to go ahead and read the synopsis now. HarperCollins is proud to present its incredible range of best-loved, essential classics. No man can live a happy life or even a supportable life without the study of wisdom. Lucius Annaeus Seneca, 4 BC to AD 65, is one of the most famous Roman philosophers. Instrumental in guiding the Roman Empire under Emperor Nero, Seneca influenced him from a young age with his Stoic principles. Later in life, he wrote, and I don't know how to pronounce this correctly, so I'm just going to go with it, Epistulae Moralis ad Lucilium, or Letters from a Stoic, detailing these principles in full. Seneca's letters read like a diary or a handbook of philosophical meditations. Often beginning with observations on daily life, the letters focus on many traditional themes of Stoic philosophy, such as the contempt of death, the value of friendship, and virtue as the supreme good. Using Amir's translation from the early 20th century, this selection of Seneca's letters shows his belief in the austere, ethical ideals of Stoicism, teachings we can still learn from today. First published January 1st, 65. The next book I'd like to read is called The Comfort Crisis. Embrace Discomfort to Reclaim Your Wild, Happy, Healthy Self by Michael Easter. Discover the evolutionary mind and body benefits of living at the edges of your comfort zone and reconnecting with the wild. In many ways, we're more comfortable than ever before. But could our sheltered, temperature-controlled, overfed, under-challenged lives actually be the leading cause of many of our most urgent physical and mental health issues? In this gripping investigation, award-winning journalist Michael Easter seeks out off-the-grid visionaries, disruptive genius researchers, and mind-body conditioning trailblazers who are unlocking the life-enhancing secrets of a counterintuitive solution, discomfort. Easter's journey to understand our evolutionary need to be challenged takes him to meet the NBA's top exercise scientist, who uses an ancient Japanese practice to build championship athletes, to the mystical country of Bhutan, where an Oxford economist and Buddhist leader are showing the world what death can teach us about happiness, to the outdoor lab of a young neuroscientist who's found that nature tests our physical and mental endurance in ways that expand creativity while taming burnout and anxiety, to the remote Alaskan backcountry on a demanding 33-day hunting expedition to experience the rewilding secrets of one of the last rugged places on Earth, and more. Along the way, Easter uncovers a blueprint for leveraging the power of discomfort that will dramatically improve our health and happiness, and perhaps even help us understand what it means to be human. The Comfort Crisis is a bold call to break out of your comfort zone and explore the wild within yourself. First published May 11th, 2021. The last book on my list is called Influence: The Psychology of Persuasion by Robert B. Cialdini. Influence, the classic book on persuasion, explains the psychology of why people say yes and how to apply these understandings. Dr. Robert Cialdini is the seminal expert in the rapidly expanding field of influence and persuasion. His 35 years of rigorous evidence-based research, along with a 3-year program of study on what moves people to change behavior, has resulted in this highly acclaimed book. You'll learn the 6 universal principles, how to use them to become a skilled persuader, and how to defend yourself against them. Perfect for people in all walks of life, the principles of influence will move you toward profound personal change and act as a driving force for your success. First published January 1st, 1984. So those are 9 books that I have listed down in my notes to be read. They're not the only 9 books I'd like to read, and they're not in any particular order once again. But sometimes throughout the day, I'll hear a recommendation or I'll be listening to a podcast and someone will mention a book and I'll pull out my phone and note it down as something I'd like to read at some point in the future when I have time. I'm currently in the middle of 3 books right now, so I need to finish those first and then I'll start on this list. And I don't know which one I'm going to pick up first, so we'll see. Probably depends on my mood. I also read fiction and I like lighthearted books, funny books, action-packed, so I kind of rotate through depending on my mood or depending on what I feel like would be healthiest for me to study at the time, mentally speaking. So there you have it. If you have any suggestions that you'd like to recommend, please do mention them in the comments because I'm always looking for more recommendations, especially when it's a book that I've never heard of before. Thank you for listening to Toasty Evenings. And I'm wishing you a positive, productive, peaceful, and fulfilling week. I'll talk to you soon.